5 years ago, Ethan Carter had nothing but ambition and a stubborn belief that one day he would succeed. He wasn't rich, he wasn't powerful, and he definitely wasn't the kind of man people expected to become successful. But deep inside, Ethan carried a quiet determination that refused to die. During the day, he worked long shifts at a small neighborhood coffee shop. At night, he studied business and technology, trying to build a future from scratch. Life was exhausting, but Ethan believed that one day his hard work would pay off. Unfortunately, not everyone believed in his dreams. His girlfriend Lily had started growing impatient with his situation. To her, Ethan looked like a man who was stuck in the same place while everyone else was moving forward. One evening they sat together in a cafe after Ethan finished his shift. The atmosphere felt cold and distant. Lily sighed and looked at him with disappointment. "Ethan, I can't keep doing this." Ethan frowned. Doing what? Waiting for a future that might never come. Her words hit him harder than he expected. "I'm trying, Lily. You know that," he said quietly. But Lily shook her head. "Trying isn't enough anymore. I need someone who already has something. Someone stable." A week later, Ethan saw something that shattered his heart. Lily posted pictures online with a wealthy businessman standing beside a luxury sports car. In the caption, she wrote about finally finding someone successful and ambitious. The message was obvious. She had traded love for money. That night, Ethan sat alone in his tiny apartment staring at the glowing screen of his phone. The silence in the room felt heavier than anything he had ever experienced before. For the first time in his life, he felt completely worthless. But something changed inside him that night. Instead of letting the pain destroy him, Ethan made a quiet promise to himself. One day he would prove everyone wrong. From that moment forward, Ethan worked harder than he ever had before. He stopped wasting time on distractions and focused completely on building something meaningful. The small tech idea he had been dreaming about for years suddenly became his entire world. Days turned into sleepless nights. He spent countless hours coding, planning, researching markets, and designing products that he believed could change the industry. Most people thought he was crazy. Friends told him he should find a stable job instead of chasing impossible dreams. Even strangers laughed when he talked about building a startup company. But Ethan ignored every voice telling him to quit. Slowly, the impossible started becoming real. 3 years later, everything changed. Ethan's startup unexpectedly caught the attention of several major investors who saw incredible potential in his technology. What started as a small project inside a cramped apartment suddenly transformed into a rapidly growing company. Within months, the business exploded with growth. New offices opened. Employees joined the team. Investors poured millions into the company. The same people who once doubted Ethan were now asking for meetings with him. By the time Ethan turned 30 years old, his company had reached a valuation worth billions. Ethan Carter had officially become a billionaire entrepreneur. Luxury offices replaced his tiny apartment. Business magazines started writing about his success story. Investors competed for his attention. The world that once ignored him now wanted to be part of his life. But Ethan never forgot where he started. One day his company decided to acquire a struggling corporation that had been losing money for years. It was a simple business decision, an opportunity to expand into a new market. Ethan attended the executive meeting to finalize the acquisition. As the meeting began, employees slowly entered the large conference room. Then the door opened, and someone walked inside who made Ethan pause for a moment. It was Lily. She looked almost exactly the same, but the confidence she once carried had faded. Lily froze the moment she saw him sitting at the head of the table. For a few seconds she couldn't even move. The man she once dumped for being broke. was now the billionaire CEO who owned the company she worked for. The meeting continued professionally, but Lily could barely focus on anything being said. Her mind was spinning with disbelief. After the meeting ended, she quickly approached him. "Ethan, wait." He stopped walking but didn't look surprised. "I didn't know this was your company," she said nervously. Ethan looked at her calmly. For a moment she remembered the younger version of him, the man who once loved her deeply. But now he seemed different. Stronger. Colder. Unreachable. "I'm glad to see you're doing well," Lily said softly. Ethan simply nodded politely. There was no anger in his voice. No bitterness. Just quiet confidence. "Good luck with your work here," he said calmly. Then he turned and walked away. Lily stood there watching him disappear down the hallway. And in that moment she finally understood the painful truth. She hadn't just lost a boyfriend years ago. She had lost the only man who truly loved her. And now, it was far too late to change anything.